Commander Doyoon Kim looked out at the stars from the bridge of the UES Pioneer. This was history in the making. After decades of work, humans had finally built a ship that could travel faster than light. The Pioneer was the first human ship to leave the solar system. Status report, Commander Kim said. Lieutenant Ji-woo Park looked up from her screen. All systems normal, Commander. Warp drive cooling down after jump. We are now near Proxima Centauri, just as planned. The bridge crew of the Pioneer was quiet. Everyone felt the weight of this moment. They were the first humans to see another star up close. Send the message home, Commander Kim ordered. Tell Earth we made it. Communications Officer Hyun Bae nodded. Sending now, sir. Message will take 4 years to reach Earth, but they'll know we succeeded. The Pioneer carried 23 of Earth's best scientists and soldiers. Their mission was simple: explore the nearest star system and return with data. No one expected to find aliens. Humans had been listening to the stars for over a century, with no answer. Sir, called Sensor Officer Suho Kang. I'm picking up something strange. Commander Kim walked over to his station. What is it? A signal, sir. Not natural. It's structured. The bridge went silent. Are you saying? Lieutenant, Park couldn't finish her sentence. Yes, Suho said. It's artificial, and it's coming toward us. Commander Kim straightened his uniform. Battle stations, quietly. Let's not appear threatening, but be ready. The crew moved with practiced ease. No one panicked, though they all knew what this meant. Humanity was not alone. Object approaching, Suho announced. It's a ship. Alien design. About twice our size. On the main screen, a sleek, dark vessel appeared. It moved with grace that made the Pioneer look clumsy in comparison. Open all frequencies, Commander Kim ordered. Let's try to talk. Before they could send a message, the alien ship spoke first, in perfect English. Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. The bridge crew looked at each other in shock. How do they know our language? Lieutenant Park whispered. Commander Kim didn't answer. He stepped forward. This is Commander Doyoon Kim of Earth vessel UES Pioneer. We come in peace and did not know this area was restricted. We request diplomatic communication. A long pause followed. Your species is unknown to us, the alien voice replied. Your technology is primitive. You will surrender your vessel for inspection. Commander Kim frowned. This wasn't going as hoped. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. We mean no harm, but we cannot surrender our ship. Perhaps we can meet. A bright light flashed outside the window. The Pioneer shook. They fired on us, shouted Tactical Officer Jun-Ho Lee, glancing hit to our hull. Minor damage. Commander Kim's face hardened. In that moment, something changed. Humans had spent their entire history fighting each other. Now, faced with an outside threat, all those years of conflict had prepared them. They've made their choice, Commander Kim said calmly. Tactical, disable their weapon systems only. Let's show them that humans are not to be trifled with. Sir? Jun-Ho looked unsure. Their technology is clearly more advanced. But they don't know us, Commander Kim said. They don't know what humans can do when threatened. On Earth, humans had evolved from prey animals into apex predators through intelligence and teamwork. When threatened, they didn't cower, they fought back smarter. Analysis of their ship, Commander Kim ordered. Science Officer Jeon Choi spoke up. Their hull appears to be made of a metallic compound, sir. Very strong, but there are points where different materials meet. Those points might be weaker. They're charging weapons again, Jun-Ho warned. Commander Kim nodded. Pinpoint those weak spots. Fire when ready. The Pioneer's laser cannons were designed for clearing space debris, not combat. But Jun-Ho recalibrated them quickly and fired 3 precise shots. On the screen, the alien ship's weapon ports went dark. Direct hits, Jun-Ho reported, surprise in his voice. Their weapons are offline. The alien ship began to turn. They're trying to run, Lieutenant Park said. Let them go, Commander Kim ordered. But first, send them a message. Communications Officer Hyun opened the channel. Alien vessel, Commander Kim said, his voice firm but calm. We did not want this fight. We still come in peace. But know this. Humans do not surrender easily. Remember the name of our species. If you come in peace next time, so will we. The alien ship accelerated away, disappearing into the darkness of space. Should we follow them? Lieutenant Park asked. Commander Kim shook his head. No. Our mission is to explore, not to chase. But send a message home. Earth needs to know what happened here. Do you think they'll be back? Ji-yeon asked quietly. Yes, Commander Kim said. And they won't be alone. We need to prepare. The crew worked quickly to repair the minor damage to their ship. No one spoke much, but there was a new feeling on the bridge, pride mixed with worry. Commander, Sensor Officer Suho called. I'm picking up signals. Many signals from deeper in the system. More ships? Commander Kim asked. No, sir. It's coming from the third planet. It's a civilization. New data flowed onto the screens. The third planet of Proxima Centauri wasn't just a world. It was a hub of activity. Hundreds of different signals, thousands of ships coming and going. It's some kind of trading post, Ji-yeon said, studying the data. Or a port. There are multiple species there. Commander Kim looked at the images forming on the screen. Structures in orbit around the planet. Ships of all shapes and sizes. A galactic community that humanity had never known existed. We're not ready for this, Lieutenant Park whispered. Commander Kim stood tall. No, but we will be. Lieutenant, set course for that planet. Slowly. Let's observe from a distance. Sir? Park questioned. Is that wise after what just happened? These ship that attacked us was from a single species, Commander Kim replied. If there are many species there, we need to learn which ones might be friends and which are enemies. The Pioneer moved carefully toward the third planet, staying far enough away to avoid detection. The crew watched with awe as the truth became clear. The galaxy was full of life, full of civilizations, and humanity had just announced their arrival with a show of force. Send another message home, Commander Kim ordered. Tell Earth everything we've seen and tell them to prepare. The universe is not empty, and it's not always friendly. As the Pioneer continued its observations, the alien vessel they had encountered raced back to the planet. Its captain was already sending urgent messages ahead. A new species had been discovered, a species that looked weak, but fought with surprising skill. A species that showed mercy when it could have destroyed them. A species called human. The galaxy would never be the same again. 6 months had passed since the Pioneers' first contact. Earth had changed forever. Nations that once fought each other now worked together. The message from the Pioneer had united humanity like nothing before. Humans knew they were not alone, and they knew some aliens were not friendly. Ambassador Sun Woo-Kang straightened her blue uniform as she looked at the massive space station through the ship's window. Nexus Prime was huge, at least 10 times bigger than Earth's largest space station. It floated in neutral space far from any star system. Are you ready, Ambassador? Asked Captain Haeun Lee. As ready as I'll ever be, Ambassador Kang replied. I never thought I'd be the first human to speak to a galactic council. Captain Lee nodded. She was in charge of security for this mission. A former Special Forces commander with doctorates in astrophysics and xenobiology, she was the perfect choice to protect Earth's first ambassador. Remember, Captain Lee said quietly, we're here to make friends, but we won't be pushed around. The Earthship docked at Nexus Prime. When the doors opened, Ambassador Kang saw aliens for the first time. There were so many different kinds, tall, short, with many limbs or few. Some looked almost human while others were completely strange. A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms approached. Welcome to Nexus Prime, humans. I am Zorax, assistant to the Council. Please follow me. They walked through wide hallways filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Many stopped to stare at the humans. They act like they've never seen humans before. Captain Lee whispered. They haven't, Zorax replied, his hearing better than they expected. Your species is new to us. Most are just curious. But not all the looks were friendly. Some aliens moved away as the humans passed. Others made what seemed like angry gestures. Zorax led them to a massive chamber. 5,000 delegates from across the galaxy sat in rising tiers around a central platform. The Galactic Council meets here, Zorax explained. Today, they will hear Earth's case for recognition. Ambassador Kang stepped onto the platform. Her heart beat fast, but her voice was steady when she spoke. Honored members of the Galactic Council, I am Ambassador Sun Wukang of Earth. Humanity comes seeking peaceful cooperation. We are a young spacefaring species, but we bring unique perspectives and technologies to share. The chamber was silent for a moment. Then a tall, insect-like alien rose from his seat. I am Vexus, High Commander of the Talari Dominion, he said, his voice deep and clicking. The humans claim to seek peace, yet their first action upon entering our space was to attack one of our patrol ships. Murmurs filled the chamber. Ambassador Kang stood her ground. Your ship fired first, Commander. We defended ourselves, then offered peace. We still do. Vexus clicked his mandibles. These humans defeated our scout vessel through trickery. They are primitive, violent, and unworthy of Council membership. A small glowing alien floated forward. I am Counselor Ilara of the Luminar Collective. High Commander, the report we received said the human ship disabled your weapons but did not destroy your vessel when they could have. That shows restraint, not aggression. Vexus's 6 limbs moved in what seemed like an angry pattern. They are too dangerous to join us. I propose the trial of worthiness. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Captain Lee leaned toward Ambassador Kang. What's happening? A friendly alien beside them whispered. The trial hasn't been used in centuries. It's a challenge to prove a species worthy of Council membership. Zorax stepped forward. The trial of worthiness requires the candidate species to defeat representatives from 3 Council races in contests of strength, intelligence, and innovation. Ambassador Kang didn't hesitate. We accept. The chamber went silent again. Then voices rose in surprise. Vexus looked taken aback. You accept without knowing the details? The trials can be deadly. Humans have faced challenges throughout our history, Ambassador Kang said firmly. We will face these too. Back on Earth, a team was quickly assembled for the trial. Captain Hyun Lee was chosen to lead. 2 weeks later, they gathered in a secure room beneath United Earth headquarters in Geneva. 12 specialists sat around a table, each the best in their field. The Council has sent details of the trials, Captain Lee said. They won't be easy. Dr. Min Jae-yoon, a mountaineer and environmental scientist, looked at the first trial details. They want us to climb a toxic mountain in basic environmental suits? The Draconians are our opponents for this one, Engineer Taehyun Choi said. Their bodies are naturally armored. They have an advantage. Captain Lee nodded. Yes, but we have something they don't, adaptability. Humans evolved on a planet with changing conditions. We learned to survive in deserts, Arctic regions, and everything between. Dr. Jia Ryu, a mathematician with 3 PhDs, studied the second trial. This quantum puzzle, it's fascinating. The Arcturans will be tough opponents. Their brains are like living computers. But computers think linearly, Captain Lee pointed out. Humans can make mental leaps, see patterns that don't follow strict logic. Engineer Wu Jin Huang picked up the third trial information. Build new technology from an emergency kit against the Talari? They're centuries ahead of us technologically. Yet, we defeated their ship with inferior weapons, Captain Lee reminded them. Because we used them in ways they didn't expect. The team spent days preparing, studying everything they knew about the 3 alien species they would face. The night before they left Earth, Captain Lee found Ambassador Kang looking out at the stars from the observation deck. Do you think we can win? Ambassador Kang asked quietly. Captain Lee stood beside her. The Talari think they've backed us into a corner, but they've actually given us exactly what we need. A chance to show the galaxy what humans are capable of when challenged. And what is that? Ambassador Kang asked. We're adaptable. We solve problems in unique ways, and most importantly, we never give up. Captain Lee smiled. Throughout our history, humans have faced impossible odds. Sometimes we lost, but we always learned, adapted, and tried again. That's our greatest strength. Ambassador Kang nodded. The Council expects us to fail. They think we're too young, too inexperienced. Good, Captain Lee said. Let them underestimate us. It will make our victory all the sweeter. The next morning, the human team boarded their ship bound for Marduk, IV, where the first trial would take place. News of the trial had spread throughout Earth. Billions watched as the ship lifted off. In his private chamber on Nexus Prime, Vexus met with his advisors. The humans accepted too quickly, one said. Do they know something we don't? Vexus clicked his mandibles. They are overconfident. No species has passed the trial on their first attempt. But what if they do? Another advisor asked. They won't, Vexus said firmly. But if by some miracle they pass the first trial, the second will break them. And if not, the third is designed to be impossible. I made sure of it. What Vexus didn't understand was that humans had been overcoming impossible challenges since they first walked upright on the African savanna. They had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and their own near destruction. And now they were about to show the galaxy what happens when you challenge the wrong species. The second trial took place on Arcturus Prime, a world of gleaming crystal cities. Captain Lee and Dr. Jia Ryu stepped out of their ship into air that smelled like mint. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, making them feel almost weightless. Glowing blue alien floated toward them. She looked almost human except for her skin, which pulsed with light that followed the patterns of her thoughts. Welcome to Arcturus Prime, she said in a musical voice. I am Zilmora, your opponent for the second trial. Captain Lee bowed slightly. I am Captain Heyoon Lee. This is Dr. Jia Ryu, our mathematician. The council arbiter hovered nearby, its metal body reflecting the crystal towers around them. The second trial tests intelligence, it explained. Each participant will be placed in isolation and given one standard day to solve a quantum computational puzzle that has never been solved. Zilmora smiled. Her brain was visible through her translucent skull, a network of glowing pathways more complex than any human brain. The Arcturans were famous for their intelligence. They were living computers, with neural networks spanning their entire bodies. Don't feel bad when you lose, Zilmora said kindly. No one expects a young species to match Arcturan mental capacity. Dr. Ryu smiled back. Thank you for your concern, but humans may surprise you. The trial chambers were simple rooms with comfortable chairs and writing surfaces. Dr. Ryu was given only a small notebook and pen. No computers or other tools were allowed. The puzzle will appear on the wall when the door closes, the arbiter explained. You have one standard day. Good luck. As the door sealed, complex equations appeared on the wall. Dr. Ryu stared at them, her eyes widening. The quantum variables seemed to shift and change as she looked at them, representing multiple states simultaneously. In the observation room, Captain Lee watched through a monitor as Dr. Ryu began writing. Her approach seemed chaotic compared to Zilmora, who worked with perfect order, filling her walls with neat lines of calculations. Ambassador Kang joined Captain Lee in the observation room. Dr. Ryu's approach seems unorthodox. That's because humans don't think linearly, Captain Lee explained. Our greatest strength is lateral thinking, seeing connections others miss. Hours passed. Dr. Ryu filled page after page with notes, diagrams, and equations. Sometimes she would stop and close her eyes, visualizing the problem in her mind. Other times she paced the room, muttering to herself. Meanwhile, Zilmora worked steadily, her skin glowing brighter as she processed the complex problem. After 18 hours, something unexpected happened. Zilmora stopped writing. She stared at her work, her glow dimming. Then she pressed the button to open her door. The arbiter entered her room. "You are surrendering?" "The problem is unsolvable," Zilmora declared. "It contains paradoxical elements that cannot be reconciled." In the observation room, Captain Lee and Ambassador Kang exchanged worried glances. If the Arcturan couldn't solve it, what chance did Dr. Ryu have? But 2 hours later, Dr. Ryu also pressed her button. The arbiter entered her room. "I have a solution," Dr. Ryu said simply. The observation room erupted in whispers. Zilmora rushed to Dr. Ryu's chamber. "How?" the Arcturan demanded. "The quantum variables cannot be simultaneously true." Dr. Ryu smiled tiredly. She had dark circles under her eyes, but they sparkled with excitement. "They can't in traditional quantum mechanics," she explained, showing her work. "But if you view it through the lens of human chaos theory and our understanding of multiverse potentiality, the answer becomes clear." She explained her solution, showing how she had approached the problem from a completely different angle. Instead of trying to resolve the paradox directly, she had reframed the entire question. The council representatives studied her solution with astonishment. One of them finally spoke. "She has not only solved the problem, but has provided a new theoretical framework that could revolutionize transdimensional physics." Zilmora's skin pulsed with rapid patterns as she examined Dr. Ryu's work. "This is unexpected. You approach the problem in a way I never considered." "That's what humans do," Dr. Ryu said. "We look for connections between seemingly unrelated things. We make mental leaps that don't always follow strict logic." Zilmora's glow changed to a deep purple. "I believed your species to be intellectually inferior. I was wrong." She turned to the arbiter. "I concede this trial to the humans." The arbiter's lights blinked rapidly. "The humans have passed the second trial. They may proceed to the final challenge." Later, as they prepared to leave Arcturus Prime, Zilmora approached Dr. Ryu. "Your solution has already caused great excitement among our scientists," she said. "Would your people be willing to share more of your thinking methods with us?" Dr. Ryu nodded. "That's why we want to join the council, to share ideas and learn from each other." "Then I will support your membership," Zilmora said. "The Arcturans value knowledge above all else. Your species has knowledge we never imagined." As the human ship left orbit, Captain Lee looked at Dr. Ryu. "You didn't just win the trial, you opened a dialogue." "That's what makes humans different," Dr. Ryu replied. "We don't just want to prove ourselves better. We want to connect, to understand, to grow together." Ambassador Kang smiled. "The Draconians respect our honor. The Arcturans respect our minds. Now we need to show the Talari something they can respect." "The final trial will be the hardest," Captain Lee warned. "Vexus will make sure of it." On Nexus Prime, news of the humans' second victory spread quickly. Many council members who had dismissed the newcomers began to take notice. Some were intrigued. Others were concerned. Vexus paced his chamber, his mandibles clicking angrily. "This is unacceptable. They were supposed to fail." His advisor trembled slightly. "The human solution to the quantum puzzle is being called revolutionary, High Commander. The Arcturans are already implementing it in their systems." "I don't care," Vexus snarled. "They must not pass the final trial. Make sure of it." The advisor bowed. "Yes, High Commander. The innovation trial is already set up to be impossible. No species could create working technology from the limited materials we will provide." Vexus clicked his mandibles in satisfaction. "Good. Let the humans come. Their journey ends there." What Vexus didn't understand was that humans had been creating something from nothing throughout their history. From stone tools made from rocks to spacecraft built from raw metals, humans had always found ways to transform simple materials into complex tools. And now, as engineer Wu Jin Huang prepared for the final trial, he carried with him the ingenuity of countless human generations who had faced limitations and overcome them. The final challenge was about to begin. The final trial took place aboard the Council's flagship, a massive vessel that orbited Nexus Prime. Engineer Wu Jin Huang felt small as he walked through its gleaming corridors. Captain Lee and Ambassador Kang walked beside him, offering quiet support. "Remember," Captain Lee said, "this isn't just about winning. It's about showing who humans really are." Wu Jin nodded. He was a quiet man who rarely spoke unless necessary, but his hands could build amazing things. During the resource wars on Earth, he had built working computers from electronic waste in refugee camps. He had kept communication systems running when others said it was impossible. The challenge room was a large circular space. In the center stood a table with what looked like a standard emergency kit. Across the room, Vexus himself waited, his 6 limbs moving in complex patterns. "The High Commander will compete personally," Ambassador Kang whispered, surprised. "He wants to make sure humans fail," Captain Lee replied. The Council Arbiter floated into the room. The final trial tests innovation. Each participant must develop a new technology using only materials found in a standard emergency kit. "You have 12 hours. Vexus stepped forward, his mandibles clicking. "Let us begin." The Arbiter opened the kit. Inside were basic tools, some wire, small power cells, simple electronics, and various materials for survival in emergency situations. Wu Jin examined each item carefully, turning them over in his hands, testing their properties. Vexus, meanwhile, immediately began building something, his 6 limbs working with incredible speed and precision. "The human doesn't seem to be doing much," one council member observed from the viewing gallery. Ambassador Kang smiled. "Just watch." For the first hour, Wu Jin simply examined everything. He tested how the materials reacted to heat, pressure, and electricity. He took things apart to see how they worked. Only then did he begin to build. His hands moved with careful precision. Unlike Vexus, who worked quickly and confidently, Wu Jin worked slowly and methodically. He would build something, test it, take it apart, and try again. Hours passed. More. Council members gathered to watch. Representatives from the Draconians and Arcturans came too, curious to see what the humans would do in this final challenge. As the 12-hour mark approached, Vexus completed his creation. It was an impressive device with glowing components and a sleek design. "I have finished," Vexus announced. "Behold." He activated the device. A beam of energy shot out and sliced through a metal plate the Arbiter provided as a test. "A matter disruptor," Vexus declared proudly. "It can cut through any known material." The council members murmured in appreciation. The technology was impressive, especially built from such limited materials. Wu Jin continued working, making final adjustments to his creation. "Time is nearly up, human," Vexus said mockingly. "Do you admit defeat?" Wu Jin looked up. "I am finished." He placed his creation on the table. It was a small, simple-looking device with a display screen and several buttons. "What is this supposed to be?" Vexus scoffed. "It looks like a child's toy compared to my disruptor." Wu Jin pressed a button on the device. It lit up and began to scan the room. "This is a universal translator and emergency beacon," he explained, quietly. "It can understand and translate any language it hears. It can also send distress signals that can be received by any communication system." He pressed another button. "It purifies water." Another button. "It generates heat for survival in cold environments." A third button. "And it can repair damaged environmental suits by analyzing the damage and providing step-by-step instructions." The device began translating all conversations in the room simultaneously, displaying the translations on its screen. Wu Jin looked directly at Vexus. "In a true emergency, survival and communication matter more than weapons." The council chamber erupted in discussion. Many members moved closer to examine Wu Jin's device. The Arcturans were particularly interested, their skin glowing with excitement patterns. Vexus's mandibles clicked rapidly in anger. "This is trickery. The human must have hidden components." "All materials came from the emergency kit," the Arbiter confirmed. "The human has broken no rules." Vexus's compound eyes fixed on Wu Jin. Then, without warning, he lunged forward. His matter disruptor aimed at the human. Captain Lee moved with lightning speed. She jumped between them, deflecting Vexus's arm. "Stop. This," she commanded. But Vexus was beyond reason. Humans must not join the council. They are too dangerous. In the struggle that followed, Vexus's communicator was damaged. It began broadcasting a message that was meant to be private. Orders to Talari ships waiting outside the system. Once the humans fail the final trial, eliminate their ship and all witnesses, Vexus's recorded voice said clearly. The council must never know how close they came to succeeding. The room went silent. Then chaos erupted. "Treason," shouted a council member. "The Talari have violated our most sacred laws." Security forces surrounded Vexus, who clicked his mandibles furiously. "You don't understand. These humans are a threat to the established order. They solve problems in ways we never considered. They think differently. They act differently. If they join the council, nothing will be the same." "Perhaps that's what we need," said the Arcturan representative, Silmora. "The council has grown stagnant. We follow the same patterns we have for centuries." Kralvex of the Draconians stepped forward. "The humans have shown honor, intelligence, and innovation. They have earned their place among us." The Arbiter's lights flashed as it processed the situation. "The evidence of Talari deception is clear. This trial has revealed more than innovation. It has revealed corruption within the council." Ambassador Kang stepped forward. "The humans don't come to disrupt. We come to help, to share, to learn. Yes, we think differently. We solve problems in new ways. But isn't that valuable, Captain?" Lee nodded. "Humans don't just adapt," she told the stunned council as Vexus was restrained. "We help others adapt too. We took our history of conflict and learned from it. We're not perfect, but we strive to be better and to help others do the same." In the days that followed, the council was in turmoil. The Talari leadership was investigated. Evidence was found that they had been manipulating events for centuries, keeping promising species out of the council if they posed a potential threat to Talari influence. 1 week after the final trial, the council reconvened. In a historic vote, humanity was not only granted council membership, but was asked to lead a new initiative for cooperative technological development. On the return journey to Earth, Ambassador Kang stood with Captain Lee on the bridge of their ship, watching the stars streak by. "Did you expect any of this when you first took command of the Pioneer?" Ambassador Kang asked. "No," Captain Lee admitted. "I thought we'd explore a bit, maybe find some microbes on other planets. I never imagined all this." "What happens now?" Captain Lee smiled. "The galaxy challenged the wrong species. Now they'll learn that being human means more than just surviving. It means thriving together. And helping others thrive too." Throughout the galaxy, communication channels buzzed with news of the newcomers. A phrase that once would have made the Talari tremble now brought hope to many worlds. The humans are coming, and this time they were coming as friends. End of story. Dr. Do-Hyun Kim stood by the large window of the space station. Earth looked small from here. The blue planet hung in the darkness of space like a beautiful marble. Do-Hyun took a deep breath. Today was a big day for all humans. Today, they would meet aliens for the first time. At 42 years old, Do-Hyun never thought he would be the face of humanity. He was just a normal scientist who studied strange life forms. But when the alien ship arrived 6 months ago, everything changed. The world leaders picked him to be Earth's main speaker to the aliens. "Dr. Kim, they're ready for you," said Captain Junho, the head of security. His face was serious. Do-Hyun nodded and checked his simple black suit one more time. He wanted to look professional. He had studied all the reports on the aliens. They called themselves the Galactic Concord, a group of 7 different alien species. They had been watching Earth for many years before deciding to say hello. "Remember," said Junho as they walked down the long hallway, "don't agree to anything without talking to us first." The door at the end of the hall slid open. Do-Hyun walked into a large room with a round table in the middle. 7 strange beings sat around it. They all looked very different from each other. One had blue skin that seemed to glow slightly. Another looked like a giant bug with many arms. One was just a cloud of gas in a special suit. There was one that looked like it was made of stone, and another that seemed to be made of water in a clear container. The 6th had a head that was too big for its body and eyes that changed color. The last one looked like a robot with many screens on its body. "Welcome, Dr. Kim of Earth," said the blue-skinned alien. Its voice was smooth and musical. "I am Ambassador Tellin of the Arcturians. We are happy to finally meet humans face to face." Do-hyun bowed slightly. "The pleasure is ours, Ambassador. Thank you for coming all this way." "Please sit," said Tellin, pointing to an empty chair. As Do-hyun sat down, he noticed all the aliens were looking at him closely. He felt like an animal in a zoo. "We have studied your people for many years," said Tellin. "Your kind is very interesting to us. So full of life, so quick to change." "Thank you," said Do-hyun, not sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing. "We have many questions about your people too." "Of course," said Tellin with a smile that showed teeth that looked like small diamonds. "That is why we are here, to share knowledge and become friends." For the next hour, they talked about simple things: where the aliens came from, what their worlds were like, what they ate, how they lived. The aliens asked many questions about Earth too. They seemed very interested in human art and music. Then, during a small break for food and drinks, Tellin turned to Do-hyun with a curious look. "Dr. Kim, if I may ask, how old are you?" Do-hyun was a bit surprised by the question. "I am 42 years old." Tellin's eyes widened slightly. 42 years? And you are one of your world's top scientists?" "Well, I wouldn't say top," said Do-hyun, feeling a bit shy. "But I have been studying biology for about 20 years now." "Amazing," said Tellin. The other aliens were now listening closely. "You have done so much in such a short time." Do-hyun wasn't sure what Tellin meant. "How old are you, Ambassador Tellin, if it's okay to ask?" Tellin smiled again. "I am 347 of your Earth years, and I am considered young among my people." Do-hyun tried not to show his shock. "That's impressive. The Arcturians typically live to about 500 years. Tellin continued, looking proud. He pointed to the stone-like alien. "But the Lithos can live for thousands of years. Even the Kiri," he pointed to the bug-like alien, "live for at least 200 years in their final form." "I see," said Do-hyun carefully. "Human lifespans are much shorter. Most humans live between 80 and 100 years. The room became very quiet. All the aliens stared at Do-hyun. "Only a century?" asked Tellin, his voice full of surprise and a little bit of pity. "That's all?" The gas alien made a bubbling sound that Do-hyun's translator didn't catch. The water alien's container rippled, which seemed to be its way of showing emotion. "That is correct," said Do-hyun calmly, though he felt a bit uncomfortable. He didn't like the way they were looking at him, like he was a sad, broken thing. "How? Do you accomplish anything?" asked the bug-like alien. "By the time you learn something useful, you are already old." "We learn quickly," said Do-hyun, "and we pass our knowledge to the next generation." "But there's so little time," said Tellin, shaking his head. "How do you deal with knowing your life is so short?" Do-hyun thought for a moment. He could tell the aliens felt sorry for humans. They thought living for a long time made them better. "We make the most of the time we have," he said finally. "Quality over quantity, Ambassador." Tellin looked confused. "I don't understand." "When you know you don't have forever," explained Do-hyun, "each day becomes more valuable. Each moment matters more." The stone alien spoke for the first time. Its voice sounded like rocks falling down a hill. "But don't you feel sad about all the things you will never see? The future of your own world?" "Sometimes," admitted Do-hyun. "But that makes us work harder to build a good future, even if we won't be there to see it. We plant trees knowing we may never sit in their shade." The aliens looked at each other. They seemed confused by this idea. "Fascinating," said Tellan finally. "Your species sees time very differently than ours." The meeting continued for several more hours. They talked about trade, technology, and future meetings. But Do-hyun could tell that the aliens now saw humans differently. They tried to hide it, but their faces, those that had faces, showed it clearly. They felt sorry for humans as the meeting ended and Do-hyun prepared to leave. Tellan walked with him to the door. "Dr. Kim," said the alien, "I hope I didn't offend you earlier. We are just surprised by your short lifespans." "No offense taken," said Do-hyun with a small smile. "We are equally surprised by your long ones. We have much to learn from each other," said Tellan, putting a blue hand on Do-hyun's shoulder. "And I look forward to it, even if our time together will be brief." Do-hyun nodded politely, but inside he felt a spark of something like anger. The aliens thought they were better because they lived longer. They looked down on humans because of something humans couldn't control. As he walked back to the Earth section of the space station, Do-hyun made a decision. He would show these long-lived aliens exactly what humans could do with their brief lives. He would make them understand that living longer didn't mean living better. It was time to show the Galactic Concord what humanity was really made of.